the men after they have sex with other male spiders. She kills them after this.
Yeah. This is read that again. I'm gonna read the definition of jealous.
Verse 6, Sirach 26, verse 6. But the grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman.
That's jealous over another woman. So she has a problem with you having another woman because she's self-centered, selfish, and it's an emotional thing. She wants you to make her feel like she's the only woman on the planet Earth. That's where it boils down to. And I'm gonna read the definition. It's from the freedictionary.com. It say, fearful or wary of being supplanted.
The word is jealous, right?
Right. Apprehensive of losing affection or position.
Yeah.
That's exactly why she doesn't want you dealing with another woman. Because she's afraid of another woman taking her spot.
But isn't that what that said in Exodus 21 and 10? That you can't diminish those three things and duties of marriage, food, raiment, shelter. You know? So you can't give up her spot or her position. But that's what they're jealous of.
And to be apprehensive means to be worried about something. You're nervous and worried. And so, by the definition, apprehensive of losing affection or position, that's exactly what these women are afraid of if you do try to bring another woman home, man. But the scriptures say that's the sorrow and the grieving of the heart, man. A woman should, a man should be able to feel free and good about bringing another helpmate home to his household, man.
Right. But like, just to throw it out there, you know, to help edify men that may be attempting to do that, there is a way to do it. You can't just desire these women for pleasure.
Exactly.
You have to have a need or demand for more help. If you don't have a need for that, you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. If you just want to have it to say you have it, you're doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Yep. And it's damn sure expedient, man.
Yeah, it's damn sure not expedient.
At all.
You know, especially if they won't have value in there. Because a woman, the first thing she gonna think is, well, we got a small apartment, we don't have a big house, we don't have a lot of kids running around. We making all our bills, so what do we need help for? That means you just want some more box from another woman. You just want somebody else but me. And there goes that sore part of that previous stuff.
Jealous.
Yeah,
Jealousy.
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 You know?
That's right. But it's still just that a jealous woman, she's selfish, man.
Yeah.
Like go to Genesis 30 real quick, man.
Oh, yeah.
Go to Genesis 30, man. Because it didn't seem like that back then.
Right.
They got that spirit now, though. You know? Genesis 30.
Just at the top, or
It's at the top.
the story starts before that. I'm gonna start up now.
Coming around to see this demonic ass shit.
I'm gonna start at verse 31. Then we can just for interest of time, we'll do it to we'll kind of tell a story how it goes. That's how we do it. It says Genesis 29 and 31. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Now, the reason for this was this. Jacob came across Laban, to his youngest daughter and was like, well, I want her. He was all into her. So LeBron was like, well, work 7 years for me and then I'll give it to you. So he worked for 7 years, and in that 7 years, LeBron was like, damn, I got an older daughter, Leah, before, and it's not right if I just marry off my youngest daughter and not my oldest daughter, so you have to take my oldest daughter. And so he was like, oh, shit, okay, but I want your youngest daughter, so we'll work another 7 years. No problem, I'll do it. So he worked another 7 years, and he got both sisters basically to be his wives.
Right.
So that brings us up to pace. But he didn't love Leah, he loved Rachel. And so the Lord said, I'm going to read it again, verse 31 in chapter 29 in Genesis. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated or less preferred, he said, he opened her womb and Rachel was barren. And from that point on, Leah began to just bear children over and over and over. I mean, he didn't diminish her duties of marriage and her and all those food and shelter from her either. He was sticking both of them, not at the same time, no orgy shit, no simpletons, but he was doing his duties of marriage to both of them. And so they began to go back and forth and have like a sibling rivalry going on between them.
That goes back to the jealous, the definition of jealous, man. They became jealous over the affection and the position that they had with Jacob. Yeah. You know?
Now I'm gonna jump to she had a few kids, I'm gonna jump down to 30. It kind of says, 34. It says 29 34. It says, and she conceived again and bare a son and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me. So he loved me like I'm his first wife. But he was in love with the younger sister more than the elder sister. That's that part.
Yeah, man. Sword falling apart. Yeah, I know.
So it says, and because I have borne him 3 sons, therefore was his name called Levi. Verse 35. And she conceived again. This is already 3. This is number 4 right here. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah and left Aaron. Here's chapter 30, verse 1. It says, and when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister. What is envy? A form of jealousy.
A form of jealousy, man.
It says, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children or else I die.
Straight up, man.
And it goes, I'm going to keep reading, it goes further as well. These women go like to do a bunch of shit, man. Just out of jealousy for one another. Let me jump down. No, I'm going to keep reading. It says, and Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said,
but see, this type of rivalry was actually not, it wasn't a wicked rivalry, man.
Right. It wasn't like Hagar and Sarah.
Right.
Sarah like, get rid of that bitch. I can't have no baby. Get rid of him and the baby. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't on that level. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying, like, the rivalry that if you was to bring another woman home for help, the rivalry that they would have, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
You gonna have 2 demons fighting each other in your house, man. You don't want that. You do not want that problem, man. That's why if you want to be expedient, wait until the kingdom for all that, man.
Yeah.
Unless the Lord has that type of spirit on you that you can actually deal like that.
Right, and the situation presents itself for you to deal that way.
That's it, man. Other than that, man, don't even deal with that. Just believe that it comes with something.
Right, it comes with lots of trouble in the flesh.
Lots of trouble. Double the trouble. If you got more than one, it's double the trouble.
verse 2. It says, and this is what he responds to that when she got mad because she couldn't have children. And she tried to demand Jacob give her a baby. But she didn't know that the Lord had her barren, and Leah, he opened her womb. In verse 2 of chapter 30 says, and Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, am I in God's stead? Who has withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? Who? Am I able to withhold? I'm still talking to you. Am I able to not give you seed or not give you fruit of your womb? Don't blame me for this. The Lord did this.
Yep.
No? It said, and behold, and she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she said, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her.
Hey, so she went and grabbed her maid and was like, hey, take her then, man. Since I can't have it, all right, let her bring the one up for me unto you.
Now, how
many of these women out here gonna do that shit?
Yeah.
That'll never happen in a lifetime with the women over here on this side, man.
Yeah.
These women will fucking destroy each other. They'll do the worst if they found out that that man had another child by another woman, man.
Remember the account where there were two women that had. Pay attention. Now look, with the account where there were two mothers, and one of the babies died, and the other one tried to take the baby from her. And then Samuel, or somebody like that, Samuel or Joshua, like cut the babies in half. You can have it in half.
Oh, that's in Kings.
It's in the Kings.
6th chapter.
Yeah, grab that for me. I'm gonna keep going here, but just grab it, just hold it. It says, and she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son.
There's a chair under where her hand is.
She did that twice. I'm going to jump down into verse 8. It says, and Rachel said, with great wrestlings, I have read. No, that's not the one I want. Verse 9, and Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her handmaid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And so because she saw Rachel did it, she stopped giving up babies to Leah. She didn't want to have kids no more, so she gave her handmaid now. Because Rachel gave her handmaid, she gave her handmaid also. To conceive. And Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, bare Jacob his son. That kind of goes on and on, back and forth, till they have 13 children at that point, including Dinah, and later Benjamin. You know? Yeah, if you grab that account. I thought it was like Samuel or something. There was a prophet that was making us, I don't know who it was exactly, but he was like, well, cut them in half, and each of you get half. You look too. I don't know why I'm thinking. Nehemiah? So I ain't read that in a while, you know. But in a nutshell, I'm gonna just tell it. If you find it, you find it. If not, whatever. But in a nutshell, I'm gonna just tell it. Basically, what happened? There were two women that had children. They bare children in the same hospital, so to speak, right? And one of the children died. So the mother of the child that died went and tried to claim the living child as her own child, right? And so they couldn't dispute the matter. They had to dispute about the matter, trying to figure out whose child it is and all that, because they had no way to know. And so whoever the prophet was at that time said, well, we'll deal with it like this. We'll cut the baby in half and give both of you half of the baby, which would have killed the baby, right? And so he goes, so the real mother says, no, she can have it. And he said, oh, that's the real mom. That's the real mother. You know what I'm saying? The one that's willing to give up the child. That's the real mother. That's how you know. The other one was like, yeah, okay, I'll take that. I'll take half of a dead baby. But the real mom was like, nah, don't kill my son. Go ahead and give it to the other one. And that's, you know, that was one of the ways to be able to judge. But that shows how some women are. They'll rather, that's how selfish they are. They wouldn't want to just, well, can I hang out with y'all and come visit the baby and help out you and your child, because mine died, and we spent time in the hospital together. She was so selfish, she wanted the baby. To so much, she didn't want the other woman to have the baby. And that's a lot of the mentality that you women nowadays have on you. You don't want to see, you don't want, if you can't do it, you don't want nobody else to do it. You know? You'd rather somebody, you done lost your son, you willing to let somebody else lose theirs, so you feel better about it instead of letting somebody keep theirs. I cannot think for herself. I cannot think for herself.
Hey, but like you even had a similar instance where Samuel's mother, Hannah, and the other wife, Samuel's father had two wives, and Samuel's mother was barren, and the other wife tried to use that against her, and the scripture called her adversary, because Peninnah, right? Because she kept trying to provoke her by trying to basically get in her head like, shit, I'm having a baby, I'm having this baby. What about you? You know, she was probably being all wicked, getting in her ear, put in her head and shit, man. Just trying to fuck with her, man.
That's how you women are, man.
That's how these women get down.
Hey, that's because you got that stony heart on you, man. That's because you got the stony heart on you where you don't have no compassion to feel for the other person. That's because y'all are selfish and self-centered and not worthy to be praised on any day. You know? You gotta get that kind of Solomon that we're gonna paraphrase to the women. You need to read that at some point as well. Let me hit this right quick. Verse 6. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read verse 4. It's 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 4. And when the time that was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah. But the Lord shut up her womb, and her adversary also provoked her sore to make her fret, because the Lord shut up her womb. The bitch rubbed it in.
She rubbed it in on her, man.
Yeah. Like, oh, you ain't got no kids. You trying to give up your forces. You ain't got shit.
Yeah, you childless. You know how the nigga woman do.
You know how y'all, yeah, exactly. You know how y'all do. The account is in there, brothers. You know, for brothers that know, you can throw it in the description box or whatever. We find it, you know, later in the week or whatever. Most of the videos go up, throw it in the description box. But yeah, just know that that's how unworthy of people y'all are. Would you rather have somebody kill their own child, you know, because you can't have one? But that's the mentality of Jake, because most Jakes are raised by women. If I can't do it, I don't want you to do it either. A lot of people hate the fact that we come up here. First Kings, right? Third chapter.
I knew it was somewhere in Kings. second passage.
The second chapter. Yeah, right here. Yep, display of Solomon's wisdom. Come. I'll just start at the top of 16. First Kings chapter 3 verse 16. And then came two women that were harlots.
There was some whole ass bitches. There was
Unto the
two
king
whole bitches.
and stood before him. And the one woman said, "O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass that the third day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save the two in the house." Yep. So anyway, it says, and this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it.
This is a good one right here.
You know what I'm saying?
Stepped on her eggs like the
Stepped on her egg, step on her leg, step on the egg like the ostrich, man. Being a cruel ass ostrich to her child, man.
It says, and she arose at midnight and took my son from
Hey,
beside
it's a lot. Hoes, hoe bitches, the prostitutes and hoes, man. They the worst type of mothers, man. They're the worst type of mother you could ever have, man. If you have a baby mother, that's just like she strips, she sell her box. You know, she's just out there and just careless, man. That's the worst kind of baby mother you could ever have, man.
It's because they lose focus. They say that they get out there to make a way for their children, but when the time comes, they become into the money and come into that whole lifestyle. And forget about the whole motherly part.
It just become a sense of providing for the child, but that's where it stopped, man.
Right. But actually the motherly duties that come along with being a mother, they don't do those things.
They don't do it.
You know?
They so damn ratchet, they'll have 100 dudes, they'll show they son 100 different men in the same week. Go ahead, bro.
It says, and at midnight, and she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me while thine handmaid slept, and it laid it in her bosom, and laid her grandchild in my bosom. And when I arose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. And that just show you that mother was more attentive on her child. She could tell how her child, you know, she knew her child on sight, you know, because she was paying it attention. Unlike the other mother who overlaid it, you know, that rolled over and was so in a deep sleep that she forgot the child was there and rolled over onto the baby and killed it. It says, and the other woman said, "Nay, but the living son is my son, and the dead son is thy son." And this said, "No, but the dead son is thy son, and the living son is mine." They arguing back and forth.
Arguing like, nah, that ain't my son. That's the dead one is your son.
Thus they spake before the king. So they arguing back and forth before the king. It says, then said the king, the one said, "This is my son that liveth, and the son that is dead, and thy son that is dead." And the other say, "Nay, but thy son that is dead, and my son is the living." So basically, showing the point that he understands what's going on. And he said, and the king said, "Bring me a sword." And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, "Divide the living children in two, and give half to the one and half to the other." This which will kill the child, right? It says, 26, verse 26, "Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son, and she said, O my Lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay him." But the other said, "Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divided."
Yeah, that's the selfish one.
Yep.
That was the selfish one. The other one had integrity, man.
Yep.
But the other one that said that stupid shit, she was the one that was being selfish.
Yep, she was the one that lost her son.
You know?
That's how a lot of you women are. Just that selfish, that you are willing to, and see, the good mother was willing to give up her child to another. Now, I'm not telling you to do, what's that called? Adoption. I'm not saying to do adoption. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just simply saying it's more of a worthy thing to do that than abortion, so to speak. But anyway, it says the king answered and said, "Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof." The one that said no, give up the child. Give her the child because she's the one that really loves and cares for it. The other one don't give a fuck. She ain't gonna take care of that child anyway. She's just being selfish and self-centered. And so, if all women, or at least I'll say this majority, get that in Ecclesiastes. If all, and I think it's like the 5th, 6th chapter. If all women are either selfish, self-centered, or both, or majority are, that's how they think. You know, that's exactly how they think about it. They don't want her, the other one, to have it. Let them both, so neither, I won't have it, she won't have it, neither one of us will have nothing. That's how you women think. That's exactly how you women think.
This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as
bands. And the
bands.
woman whose heart, whose mind is snares and nets. All they want to do is trap up men and do certain things. Do what's according to them, which makes them selfish and self-centered. They want men's mind. That is because all them traps, you have to fall for the trap. As a man, you fall for that trap. You know, by doing the trap is do what I want you to do, and then I'll give you what you want from me. That's snares and nets. You know, and there's plenty of examples as the specific snares and nets that women use and do. Go ahead, put back at the top. What you started.
It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets.
And I find more bitter than death is the woman. Because her ways are snares and nets, and all the things that she wants you to do is going to kill you anyway and keep you away from the Most High God. Those snares and nets are those that have sinned, erred, and perished for women's sake. From 1 Esdras, the 4th chapter. Go ahead, bro.
Whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape from her.
Whoso pleaseth the Most High will escape from a woman like that. Hold that. Let me read this real quick.
Hey, that's the reason why Floyd Mayweather is getting taken by these sluts, man. It's because he ain't right. He's in the world and he's making all this money and he making mockery of people that don't have nothing and boasting in his riches. He ain't right. So the Most High is giving this dude L's outside of the ring. He's winning in the ring, but he's receiving L's through these hoes outside of the ring.
That's right.
That's because he's not a man of the Lord. He's a sinner. So the Most High gonna keep giving him those type of women that's gonna keep sucking him of his riches, and his pride, man.
Yeah.
That nigga been getting emotional lately over that bitch, man. When he got all the women in the world that he could choose from, man. All the single women in the world that he could choose from, that would love to be with him, but he's sorrowing over this gold digging slut, man. She popping all type of dudes while you locked up, but you still taking her out and buying her all type of expensive ass shoes and jewelry, you know, shutting them all down for her, man.
Bring out the briefcase, the Louis Vuitton briefcase.
Right.
So I can bring out 10 racks right quick and spend it on 2 items for this bitch.